Bethesda and Machine Games have touched each other in all the right places and have created what I would call a game of the year. Yes, it is a generic first-person shooter, as some would say. Yet, the game's overall story speaks for itself. It is well thought out, well paced. For me, Wolfenstein was mostly about the multiplayer, so I was very upset when I heard about the actual concept not including multiplayer. Multiplayer is always Wolfenstein was always the biggest draw for me. It was like one of the first games I played on Xbox OG, and it really grabbed a hold of me. But they decided to focus all efforts into a driven story, and it plays like a movie, except the cutscenes don't take up the whole game, like Last of Us and other games where the whole game is basically just the cutscenes, and you don't. I mean the gameplay in between is is good, but it's not the most memorable of things. For example, after every giant chunk of limbs blowing off and dicks getting circumcised into dirt, there is brief missions where you go into your HQ or your little hideaway because you don't want Hitler to find you and bake you a cake. Here you are free to walk around and learn more about each character, making them unique and interesting. The collectibles associated with the game are all give you insight to what's going on in the world around you. There's random little articles you can read about the Nazis and what they've done in the future, and everything seems semi-plausible if the Nazis had won the war. It's not belligerently outrageous, and it's not, it has Michael Bay action at times, except no slow-mo and no movies that suck. The main character, B.J. Blazkowicz, has been given an actual personality in this game and speaks for the very first time. They have casted him very well. You wouldn't think a generic killer who is the American trying to save the world would be such a great character, but he has lots of depth and lots of personality, and you believe in his cause. That being said, there are several cheesy parts in the game, but overall they're far, few, and in between my legs, if you want to look, because that would be nice, because no one has touched me ever. Except that cat that one time, but that was kind of weird. People have also reported major graphical bugs and glitches that have made it impossible for them to proceed in the game. I didn't experience this, maybe a couple hiccups here and there. It wasn't anything that was too serious, and I easily got through the game. But that was probably something earlier towards launch. There was a patch I had to download that was less than a gigabyte. It wasn't that big at all. Much like the PlayStation 4's game library. Being released on cross-gen, though, I feel has set this game back a small fraction of a bit. The Xbox 360 version is where I feel those glitches still hold true, and they probably had to cut out a lot, because on next gen this runs at 1080p 60 frames a second and just runs very smoothly and fluidly, much like it does probably on the PC and all over my chest. I know little to nothing about Machine Games, but seeing this has really just struck a chord with me. The sound design, the soundtrack, they recreated classic songs from the 60s in German and other languages, and it's just phenomenal. I had some trouble with the upgrade system. It felt a little light-weighted, but everything else, like the guns, very well weighted and down to earth, like my balls hang real low. So in honor of that, I give Wolfenstein: The New Order the coveted gallon of milk of the year with extra milk dripping out the side. There's a wonderful game. I would get it at a discount though if possible, because it's only single